Hi, everybody. Today I wanted to talk to you about intention and how we often use intention with the best of intentions, but it winds up, instead of expanding us and giving us exactly what the universe wants for us and what our higher selves want for us, it limits it and it gets us stuck with something we think we want, but that we may actually not want or need. And so I'm going to use a really specific example just because it's super easy to visualize with an example, but you can apply this to any type of intention. So say the intention is for love and a relationship, which is something people ask me about all the time. When am I going to find that relationship? How am I going to find that relationship? How do I set an intention for that relationship? What kind of crystals can I use for that relationship? And all of those things. And so people tend to have a checklist where they want really specific things, or they think they want really specific things in a relationship. I want a person who is this and has this and will do this with me, and this is what the relationship will be like. And there's nothing wrong with knowing what you want, and there's nothing wrong with very strongly putting it out there and identifying it. But what I would suggest to you is that often when you come up with this very specific framework and checklist of what you want, it can limit the universe versus expanding the universe and allowing the universe to deliver you what you really truly need and what your soul wants for you and what the universe wants for you. And so often we think what we think we want makes us feel smaller or not as fantastic as we could, when if we had just expanded and really looked into why we want the things that we are setting intention for and what we're actually hoping to achieve by that, then we can set an intention that is broad and allows the universe to deliver exactly what we need. So for the relationship example, I just said, well, a lot of people have a really specific checklist, and that's fine. I didn't have a checklist with relationships, but I certainly had a list of things that were desirable. Not a narcissist, things like that, because my history was I was pretty bad at relationships. And relationships were pretty bad at me, and it was because of what I was intending. So what does an intention look like then, where you're not creating something you think you want that really limits you instead of allowing you to expand? So first an exercise, and then we'll talk about how you set the intention from that. So the trick is to get behind the intention, or what you think you want, to what it truly is that's driving this desire. So for a relationship, take a moment and just close your eyes, put your hands over your heart, and really visualize being in the relationship that you desire, or whatever your intention is. Visualize that and go into what it makes you feel. How do you feel when you're in that space? How you feel is truly the intention that you have. The relationship is simply a means to having a feeling that you want to have, whether it's connection, whether it's love, whether it's peace, whether it's joy, partnership, companionship, all of those things. So really take time and visualize yourself in this relationship with anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. As a matter of fact, it can be a blank-faced person in this relationship. Just visualize yourself in it, and what does that look like? What does that feel? How do you feel when you're in that relationship? Now you have the feeling. Write down in your journal really quickly, this is how I feel, this is how I felt, and create your intention then around that set of feelings versus around the specific checklist that you have for a partner. So for a really specific example, I've been married 3 times. I'm on my 3rd husband, but this one's a keeper. We've been together 20 years. And back when I had just gone through the end of my relationship, or was kind of going through the end of my relationship with my last husband, which was really not a good fit at all, I sat down and I did this exercise, and I really visualized, what is it that I'm looking for? What is it that I want? And I created a set of affirmations around those. And what I wanted is I wanted to feel connected. And I wanted to travel and have fun and be happy and have this companionship and have a true partnership versus all of the little things that I thought would tick my box, personality traits, or how much money they had in the bank account, or what their job was, or any of those things. And so instead, I didn't focus on the other person at all. I focused on me and how I felt and how I would feel as a result. And I created a set of affirmations around that and visualizations around that that didn't actually specifically mention anything about the other person. It only mentioned about me and how I feel. I mean, it did, like, in that I felt connected to someone, and then I felt a community of love and support around me, and those types of things. So those were part of those intentions. And I've told this story quite a few times, but I'm always happy to tell it again. So what I did was I sat down, and once I had all of those things, and I created my list of affirmations, and every day I wrote longhand, because this was before computers were super big, because I'm old, and I wrote longhand in my journal about what it was that I wanted to manifest in me and in my life from an emotional standpoint. And I wrote those down every day, and I wrote them 10 times in the morning and 10 times at night. And I centered my visualizations around them and things like that. Well, life happened, and I really forgot that I had even done these intentions or these affirmations. And I met and married Jim, my husband, and we moved into our house. And there were affirmations also about my job and my prosperity and all of those things. Things like, I really want to feel like I'm living my purpose and making a difference, and that money isn't a huge stressor for me. I didn't have to be stinking rich, but I wanted to at least have enough energy and currency in my life that I could make a difference in other people's lives and also work in a way that works for me. And so I had this whole set, and I forgot all about him. Met and married Jim back in 2003. We met in 2001, got married in 2003, and moved. Changed my job. I was working in a job that was really sucky. I was working as a technical and marketing communication specialist for an industrial operator interface terminal company. Doesn't that sound fabulous? It's about as fabulous as it sounds. It wasn't creatively fulfilling or any of those things. And so changed jobs, moved down here to where I currently live, away from where I was living, moved into our house, and really started working with all of my spiritual things, and just everything in my life changed. And I had forgotten about this notebook. Well, I was slow to unpack. And I started unpacking all of a box that I found that hadn't been unpacked. It was probably 5 years after we'd moved into the house. And I just found this box, and I was like, oh, I wonder what's in this box. It was a box of books. Both Jim and I are avid readers. And so back before we had Kindles, we bought a lot of books. Probably not a surprise, since I also write books. And so I was unpacking this box of books and kind of looking at the titles and sorting through it, and I came across my old journal. And I thought, I wonder what this was from, and I went back, and it was from the mid-90s. It was after my son was born, so it was probably about 1997, 98, somewhere in there. And this is probably now about 2009-ish. And so I found this journal, and I started flipping through the journal, and I saw pages and pages and pages of these affirmations I'd written. And I thought, I wonder what I thought I wanted back then. And I went and I read through those affirmations. And first I read through some of the entries about where I was in my life and how I felt about it at the time. And then I read through these pages of affirmations, and they described my life and how I feel exactly the way I'd laid it out in the affirmations. And so something clicked for me. And so it's something that I teach a lot as a result. And honestly, it's intention. What clicked was that we often get so specific in our intentions that we create unintended results. So we create things that we think we want, but it really winds up not being the best thing for us. But when I stepped into the feeling, and one of the things I stepped into was, I'm here, universe. I want to feel this way, but I'm going to allow you to do it any way you want to versus me trying to control it. That's when everything began to change for me. And that's when my whole life became different. And to me, it feels better. And it was that I had created a set of intentions. I give thanks that today I am joyful. I give thanks that today I am prosperous. I give thanks that today I work in meaningful work. I give thanks that I have a community of love and support around me and relationships that make me feel joyful and happy and connected. And so it was those types of relations versus I would like to marry a lawyer or any of those things. So I'm not saying my life is perfect, but it certainly is more purposeful. It is more joyful. And I truly did create the things that I wanted for myself that I didn't even know I wanted for myself. I created what I needed, and you can do the same thing. So what I'd really like to encourage you to do is, if you're working with intention and affirmation and visualization, I'd like to encourage you to zoom out from the very granular things you think you want and really look at the motivation behind it. What is it I want to feel? What is it I want to experience? And then create intentions that cultivate those experiences and those feelings. And always be open to realizing that just because you've created something out of intention doesn't mean you have to stay in that forever. So if something stops working for you, you can create a new intention. You can evolve your intention. And I think we always should be involving our intentions because we're always growing as souls and as beings and as humans. And so you can evolve your intention so that you can have new experiences and create new things in your life, and always be open to supporting what the universe wants for you and what you truly choose for yourself. So that is what I have to say on intentions. I hope that it makes sense. Please feel free to reach out to me either on this platform or through my website, authorkarenfrazier.com, if you have questions and if I can help you anyway. I look forward to sharing more with you. Thanks. Bye.